it's a good scoreline when you actually look at this whole World Cup thing that's coming up. 40-50 days left. But I think the best thing that Graham Reid's done is probably not go and play somebody who's 7th or 8th or 10th or even 6th, on the FIH rankings. It's always better that you play some of the better teams. And what better team can you play than the number one in the world right now, which is Australia? Of course, the biggest positive that you can probably look at is Akashdeep getting a hat-trick. Now, he is the same player that Graham didn't take to Tokyo. There was controversy about that whole thing about not including him. A lot of people said he had gone slow. But I think in this particular match, actually after the second goal that he scored, you could see that Akashdeep was really pumped up. Then he gets a hat-trick. But I think the bigger positive that you can actually look at it is that you're playing a 5-test series against the world number one side. You may even lose all the 5 games. But remember that all that you gain from there is not that you're going to be playing Australia in the group in the World Cup. Eventually, you may play them in the semis, or if you go to the final, you're going to play them. Now, those are going to be close games. Also, I think one needs to remember that to play Australia right now also takes a little bit of courage, because if you remember, we played them in the Commonwealth Games final and we lost 7-0. Today's scoreline was 5-4, and the last 5th match winner actually came when the clock had already stopped. So I think there's a slight improvement, if you can call it slight, because on a world scale, on a big cup final, Australia will always be the number one side. So playing Australia right now is probably the best thing that India can do before the World Cup. One can look at it in two senses here. One is to avoid playing the best team. Okay, and one is to play the best team and probably learn and probably feel that, okay, you can match up them. If you can match up to Australia, even if it is a 4-3 scoreline in your favor or it is a 5-4 scoreline in Australia's favor, that matchup helps you in the World Cup. Because understand and remember, the group that we are in the World Cup has Spain and England and Wales. Now, Spain and England are touch and go sides. You can easily lose very easily to them, or India can also beat them. But just look at the positive side. You're going to play a 5-test series in Adelaide against the number one side. What you come back with is going to help you in the group stage. And these group stages are not going to be played at Bhubaneswar. They're going to be played at Rourkela in front of 20,000 people. That 20-30% that you get from fans, that whole encouragement that comes from fans, is going to be the difference when India take on Spain and when India takes on England. I think this series will probably set the tone. Of course it matters. I think India is going to be playing at a time in January, which probably the temperatures, understand, Rourkela is not like Bhubaneswar or any other town in Orissa. It has extreme climates. When I say extreme, it touches 40, 41, 42 in summers, and it goes down to even 5 and 6 during winters. So 13th and 15th January is when India is going to be playing its first 2 games in the pool. Now those days, expect that the cold is going to drop down to almost 7, 8, 9. So the temperatures are going to be vastly different. But having said that, I think India will probably fare better. England and Spain will probably play in climates, in conditions that probably favor them also, because it probably reflects what happens in their country. But I think overall, when you really look at this Indian side now, and I'm just going back to the game that happened today, the midfield was pretty decent, if not excellent. The defense needs work, which is being said for the last 2 to 3 months. And I think the forward line did its best. Akashdeep's hat-trick is definitely a positive sign that they're coming up. So all in all, this is a great result. All you need to do is just stack up the results, probably take 1, 2, 3 wins in this particular series, because every time Australia is not going to be fielding its best side, neither India is going to be fielding its best side. It's also going to put in some other youngsters out there. But a 5-test series with the world number one always will give you positives, actually much more positive rather than any negatives out there. Australia always plays its best. The basic philosophy, you look at Colin Batch, you look at Rick Charlesworth, you even look at Graham Reid, our coach, when he was coaching Australia in 2016 Rio Olympics. Their simple philosophy is you only go onto the pitch to win. You never go out there to lose or to draw a game. And they will play full blast. Right from the moment they scored their first goal till the moment they got their fifth one. And remember, the fifth goal came on 0, which means that the clock had already stopped and they still flicked in a very, very good penalty corner. So when you look at this Australian side, and if you really want to compare it to the others, this is probably the best side. Out of this side, at least 90% are the ones who are going to go to Bhubaneswar for the World Cup. So for India, it's great that they're going to be playing this. Also, the practice levels are going to be very, very, very massive in terms of training levels, practice levels, match levels, competition levels. All of this only comes when you play the world's #1 side. As I said, playing a different side would have been easier, but it's good that Hockey India, Graham Reid and the Indian side have taken the best route possible, and which is playing the best side in the world. They're going to be very strong. They would want to wrap up the series 5-0 because understand, they also want to be on a positive note. They want a momentum going into Orissa, at least in Rourkela, and they will be playing in Bhubaneswar at least for their group games. For them, momentum is important. For them, it is highly important that they go to Bhubaneswar with only one thing, and that is to win the World Cup. For us, understand, the last time we won a World Cup was in '75. It's been hell of longer time that we haven't even gone into the semi-finals. So this is probably the best opportunity. This is the best team we have, and we have a very good coach who understands Australian hockey, who also understands world hockey. This series is going to pave the way for that.